All right. John here again, joined with
Matt Thomas, the Rambo Medium from Studio Redband. Glad to be here once again. Thank you very much.
And now we're going to dive into The Dam, aka Cliffhanger 2.
Yeah, 1994 through 2008.
And
this one.
And I know some people out there know about this one, but what have you learned, like, over the years have learned about this, or is there anything you can share about Cliffhanger 2 before we get into it?
Well, I have a little bit of experience with this one, and Jack helped us out so much with this one. And
shout out to Jack Craven. Yep.
Yeah.
Great guy up here.
Jack's notes. And I guess I don't know, it's one of those ones too where, like we were saying with the last couple, the classics that we've been covering of lost Stallone films that, what would I trade to see this one? And the time, like, especially at the time, 1994, so maybe it would have came out in 95.
Yeah.
So
same year he did Judge Dredd and Assassins.
Yeah. I guess it would have depended who, all the different cogs in the wheel, right?
But it's what
I wanted to see.
Well, thinking about it too, like, you could even say Daylight is kind of like a spiritual, non-direct follow-up to Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Not as much as,
like, I would even be happy if they made, like, switched up Gale Force maybe a bit and made that kind of like a prequel, why he's such a loner, and then maybe do Cliffhanger and then this and Daylight in an arc,
like a trilogy.
Yeah.
Of sorts.
Yeah, like a saga, an anthology.
Yeah.
Like, but I really like this one. So it's a shame, it's a shame. It's a shame both versions of it never got made. And I know Sly came back and said he wanted to do this one again. He was going to do it. Then he started saying that he was, it would be a cool tie-in to the Expendables. I'm not sure how they would have done that. I guess they would have done that with Lily Poor and Jason Momoa, maybe they could do that.
Yeah, that was when there was talks of a reboot. I don't know if that's happening now, but I wonder now, because you mentioned that, wasn't there talks that he was going to try to, like, either between Rambo and the Expendables, or maybe somewhere around that time that I heard that
bring him back.
He wanted to do a Cliffhanger sequel.
Yeah. And it's cool because in this one you get a Gabe origin story with this one. So it's kind of like, that could have been really cool to have. Have Cliffhanger take place in its year 2003, right? 1993. If they wouldn't have done this in 94, and say if they did it in, like, 2013 or 14 or something, this could have been cool because they could have done, like, the old Gabe, but at the same time have the prequel, so it would be like over the two films you would have 3 generations of his stories.
Yeah.
I started looking into that Bone Baffin expedition. It was an expedition. It's on his hat. In the movie, he has that green hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started looking into that, and there was, like, this crazy multiple expedition that was going through. I did an episode on it. It's pretty insane, but it's I just think it's cool because you get a little more for your buck, I guess I should say.
Yeah, this is one of those sequels that should have happened. I mean, it would have been entertaining to see, especially which was going to take place on the Hoover Dam. Am I right, or am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the one just out of Vegas, right? That's Hoover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is and plus, like, you have to keep in mind this was like 1994,
Yeah.
So it was like a year after.
Before the Griswolds went, that's for sure. To the Hoover Dam. Where my damn bait?
So it says TriStar wanted to make the sequel to Cliffhanger in 1994, and they did start work on the project. The story would take place in the Hoover Dam, which gets taken over by terrorists, and Gabe Walker would somehow end up at the wrong place at the wrong time again, and he would have to fight against them. The plot also included terrorists wanting to shut down Las Vegas by destroying the Hoover Dam. For some reason, the dam was canceled very early in pre-production. Maybe Carolco went bankrupt, Carolco's bankrupt, which took place around the same time, had something to do with that. So Sly did try to start the project again in 2008 after he made Rambo 4, but again, nothing happened. So here's the entire plot synopsis of the sequel, based on early script by Jan Skrentny and Neil Tabachnik. It is very long, but fuck it. It's up to you. Do you want to read it or not? Well, okay. What amazes me is how good the script is, considering these two also wrote the story for one of Sly's worst films, Driven, in 2001, but maybe Sly's script was the real reason why the film sucked. Note that although developed as possible script for Cliffhanger sequel, just in case if Stallone didn't want to return names of the main characters were changed so that the script could be changed into a different film. So Gabe Walker would have been known in this script as Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker would have been known as Bud, and Jesse, which was Janine Turner, would have been Carrie. So, okay, so during a snowstorm in Wyoming, a group of former Special Forces members ambush and kill another group of soldiers who are transporting a nuclear missile. And after killing all of the soldiers and stealing the missile, they attack maximum security prison and break out Izardia Nuff, a former colonel of their team who is about 40 years old and cold as ice, which is obvious since he doesn't have any problem with killing 3 new members of the team just because he didn't trust them. Although they leave the missile, the team takes the core from it with them, which is later mentioned by other characters to have 2 kilograms of plutonium, enough for 30 Hiroshimas.
Huh.
The way they do it is pretty cool too. It's like this big snowstorm backdrop, and they go to like this outpost, and there's a barbecue. Not to all man young.
Why am I getting vibes of like Broken Arrow a little bit?
Yeah.
Hands off the nuclear weapon, or whatever.
They're making
nuclear
hamburgers.
warhead.
They're making hamburgers in the blizzard out there when they show up, and they're like, they feed them the hamburgers and they're talking and stuff, and then the takedown begins, and it's not clear, but it's kind of insinuated that the men they just killed, they were cutting out parts of their body and putting it in the burgers and feeding.
So we got cannibalism going on.
Yeah. It's a pretty neat intro, actually. So after that, the main characters are introduced: female helicopter pilot Carrie, and 2 mountain climbing rescue rangers, Mike and Bud. After a fun little action sequence where they have to deal with broken Black Hawk helicopter, which they are trying to buy, and Mike having to climb out it to fill it with fuel while it's way up in the air and it is about to crash down. They get back on land, and Mike tells Bud that he's going to propose to Carrie, and they notice a lot of military activity around the area, and they hear how the nuclear warhead was stolen. It's a pretty cool scene, too, because he's, like, hanging on, outside the helicopter.
Yeah.
And he gets in, and he's all full of gas. Like, he's got gas all over him, and he's, like, checking his pockets. He's like, when he gets back in, and Hal's like, what are you checking your pockets for? And he's like, oh, I got it. He still had the wedding ring. He thought he dropped the wedding ring that he was going to propose with.
Yeah. So you've read the script.
Yeah. I read a good chunk of the first act, and I kind of skimmed over the rest. But yeah, it's one I gotta go back and reread again.
How was it from what you remember?
Really good. Like there's like between just like what Jack was just talking about, there's so much that goes on in just that piece. Yeah, sorry.
Are you good?
Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm at Then They Go.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Yeah, then they go to Hoover Dam for rescue demonstration, but first they get to Las Vegas, much to Mike's annoyance, who really doesn't like being there. While Bud is having the time of his life, Mike also has to deal with his fear of proposing to Carrie. At that time, Nuff and his team put the warhead into some storage unit near Lake Mead and start their operation, but there is a team of good Special Forces soldiers who are trying to track them down. They have a squadron of Huey Cobra gunships and Nuff's former friend General Farmer and one more character, Major Hugh, are in charge of the team.
Who would have played our villain, Nuff?
I like going back to what's his name? Death.
Oh, William Sadler. Again?
I'd give it to him again.
He's back in a... Well, he's back from Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
Or,
maybe a Willem Dafoe?
Yeah, not Speed 2, Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Where he's putting leeches all over his body.
Yeah, that could have been really cool, though.
You know what? I almost think that because wasn't Christopher Walken considered for the first Cliffhanger for Quaylen?
Yeah, I think I heard that somewhere, probably in here somewhere.
John Lithgow's character. So have him be the villain. You couldn't give him the first time, give him the second time.
That would have been cool. Or his brother.
Yeah.
Lithgow's twin brother. Quaylen 2. Quaylen 2 shows up.
Now you got. I know I'm thinking about other people out there too as well. I can name, but go ahead.
Dennis Hopper. Bring Dennis Hopper back.
Lance Henriksen.
Yeah. Lance Henriksen, yeah. He's another actor I want to start watching. I want to maybe start doing movies on him. Watch a couple of them.
Do you think Rennie Harlan would have came back to direct?
That could have been awesome. I think definitely. I think they probably would have offered it to him.
Yeah.
Since he did the first one, right? So.
It's cool to think about. I mean, was Cliffhanger? And this is something I should have known, but how much did Cliffhanger make?
I have no idea. I have no clue.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a hit, but I'm just trying to think, like, why didn't they make a sequel? Like, this should have been. My phone's on charge, so I can't, check it, but I can show you. I can check right here. $255 million, so that's a big fucking hit.
Yeah, 255, yeah.
Budget 70
million, yeah.
Made 255 million, so that should have been enough right there to warrant a sequel. If anything, just one sequel. Why didn't we get it? Why didn't we get this?
For sure, man.
Either you could have brought back Rennie Harlan, or you could have had someone like, I don't know, Peter Hyams, or, I'm just throwing out names.
It's weird. But they're like, the only thing I could think of is maybe they thought it was too close in time to the first one. maybe they thought it was going too fast, but I
Same.
don't know. It's one I always would have liked to see, and they could have done it in the 2000s.
Exactly, yeah. Especially maybe and have Stallone directed since he was on a roll with Rambo and Rocky.
Yeah. I'm sure he would have had his own spin on it too, so I'm sure there would have been other things, and it would have been just nice to see the three of them again together.
Yeah.
So Mike, Bud, and Carrie arrive at the dam where Mike tells them how his grandfather was one of the people who worked on building the dam, and they meet Mike's friend, an old man named Irv, who also worked on it and is currently working there as a tour guide. While walking around the dam, Mike and Irv go on the Arizona side, while Bud and Carrie go on the Nevada side. And Carrie notices how Mike secretly put the engagement ring on her finger. Yeah. They can watch, like, you get a little bit of his backstory of being there as a kid and, you know, really looking up to this guy and this Irv guy. And they go watch a little, like, park movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Those things, and he puts the ring on her finger, and then he falls asleep.
Well, now you got me wondering if you're saying this is an origin story, which I love Cliffhanger, but you wonder what if they
give you a little spin on the origin, just like a bit, but they do give you a game origin story, and he's thinking back to that, and then they're watching that little movie together in the thing, and he puts the ring on her finger, and then I think he falls asleep or something, and then later on, when they split up to go on both sides of the dam, I think he goes to the bottom of the dam, they go to the top to go on a tour or something, and he notices as she's walking away that she's got the ring on her finger.
Yeah.
He's like, damn. He doesn't say anything, you know, he just keeps going. But then the shit hits the fan. Because the team starts taking over the dam. They block both sides of the road with trucks, kill a couple of tour guides, and take tourists, workers, and other civilians as hostages. Mike and Irv, however, realize what's happening and go and try to save the hostages and stop them and his team from blowing up the dam. Carrie managed to get the radio from one of the dead tour guides before, and others were because they all got locked in this building. So, and she and Bud talk with Mike and Ari over the radio and figure out what to do. So, Fireman and Who also heard that, or Hugh.
I guess they're like subordinate characters that work for Nuff.
Yeah, took over the dam, and they are moving over there with their troops. They also realize what he could do, blow up the dam and cause mass destruction. But since he has that warhead, he can also turn the entire destroyed area into what they call a fucking radioactive Atlantis. So, Bud and Carrie sneak out of the place where they were put with other hostages and climb out through the building and across the dam into Nevada's elevator shaft, while Mike does the same on his side and gets into the Arizona elevator shaft. But once he starts climbing inside there, two bad guys, brothers Chappie and Fritzy, realize that someone's in there, and they have to try and take him out by shooting into the shaft and throwing grenades. But although he does get wounded in the arm, Mike survives while they leave. So Mike, Bud, and Carrie soon find each other, and they manage to drop the huge bomb Nuff and his team put into one of the elevators to the part of the dam where it will have less impact and won't destroy it. And they're damn near killed from the fire caused by the explosion. Yeah, it's kind of like a cliffhanger moment, because they kind of like the bomb has a set time on it and it goes down the shaft.
Uh huh.
So you're like, oh my god, how are they gonna get out of this situation in like 10 minutes? You know.
That kind of reminds me of Broken Arrow too, because I think there's a scene like that where the warhead has a timer on it, and it's in like the bottom of a cave, and Christian Slater is trying to get it out.
All right, hold on. I lost my shit. Okay, there I am. Sorry, the screen's really bright. So Nuff and his team, who by that point already left the dam, see that it's not destroyed, and so they go back towards it. Police finally show us. I guess he was trying to write show up, but maybe I'm misspelling there. Show us, and they try to move up the trucks, which are blocking the roads into the dam, but the trucks explode. Mike then gets out of the dam and goes to help the hostages escape. But then Chappie and Fritzy see him and start shooting at him, while at the same time a small battle between Nuff's team and Farmer Soldier starts down on the water when Nuff's team arrives back in speedboats. So during the battle, they manage to shoot down one of the Cobra helicopters and one news helicopter, which also showed up at the dam. Farmer's helicopters also crashes down.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the action's pretty good in this one.
What would you say? Like, was it? Do you think it would have had the same amount of action as Cliffhanger, or do you think it would have tried to up Cliffhanger, or?
I guess it would have been more accelerate, like bigger. Like maybe the same kind of beats, but just bigger.
Yeah.
Because there's really some really good endearing moments in it too. So there's like the beginning's really good and dramatic, and like even when they get to Las Vegas, Stallone like hates being there. You know, and like Hal's so happy to be there, he hates it. It's insinuated that something happened there. I don't know. So Mike and Bud climb across canyon walls, but they soon have to jump on power cables and slide away from their pursuers. However, Nuff sees them and shoots at the cable with high-powered rifle and snaps the cable in two. And while Mike barely gets away, Bud is not that lucky, and he falls into the water. Then the cables fall after him, and fries him alive. Mike jumps into the water and swims out over to Bud and holds his best friend's dead body.
So Michael Rooker would have died.
Dead. No sequel for you.
What are your thoughts on that before moving on?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would have killed him off. You know?
Yeah.
Like, even in the first one, you're like, he almost dies, but you're happy. Kind of like, you know, how they didn't kill Dolph Lundgren in Expendables.
Yeah.
There was more to this, too, I wanted to throw in. Like, there's that, like, one scene where you know, Sly comes back and he's finally looking out over the dam, and Michael Rooker's, like, digging through his bag and pulling out different, like, pieces of gear and putting it on the ground, and he's talking to him, and Sly's... It kind of feels like Sly's not listening to him at all. And then they have this nice tender moment where he's like, you know, like, what do you need all that shit for? Like, fucking spiky shoes and all this. But yeah. Oh, poor Michael Rooker. So later, Mike, who is now captured along with Carrie, finally meets Nuff, and he explains how all that he's done was an act of revenge on the U.S. and the Army. Sometime before, while he was still in the Army, he put together the team for a secret mission. They were supposed to take out Saddam Hussein, but once they almost got him, they got a new order not to kill him. But since they were already in his palace, they made a deal with Hussein to instead get him out of there in exchange for some money. But once that was done, his best friend, General Farmer, betrayed Nuff, and he was put in jail. So while Nuff is about to shoot them both, Mike and Carrie break free and jump from the dam into the water and steal one of the speedboats. And Nuff's men chase after them in another. So during the chase, Mike and Carrie find Farmer, who survived the helicopter crash, and pull him out of the water. But Mike then has to throw him and Carrie out once they are cornered by others. And at a last moment, Mike also jumps out before the speedboat gets destroyed. Crazy. That could have been cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Nuff kills Farmer and recaptures Carrie, ordering her to fly them away in a helicopter because her and Mike's escape. One of his pilots got wounded. So Mike, in the meantime, is found by Ari, who helps him out and tells him tells him to go through some pipe and get to a place where Carrie is held captive. But while Mike is climbing through the pipe, one IT member shows up and fights with Ari. And despite Mike's attempt to save him, One Eye kills Ari and tries to kill Mike, who escapes. That's very powerful.
Well, I have to ask a question real quick. You know, I know since you read the script, was there any like memorable, kind of like how in Cliffhanger, you know, he had the fight with Leon in the cave. Was there any like fight moments like that?
A lot of this part, I was just skimming through, so.
Or anything that you can recall like that, or
I can't really say, but it had those elements, like, you know, like in the beginning, like the first movie, like, you know, climbing out on the wire in the beginning, or like just like that feeling of like how they conducted business up there.
Yeah,
like a lot of that kind of felt the same. But yeah, like a lot of this part going towards the end, I skimmed. So I don't know. I could have missed a lot. So during all the chaos in Las Vegas, which even the army can't control, Nuff and others start robbing the casinos.
Did we skip one? Did we skip a paragraph?
Did I?
The long action.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
One that kills Ari and tries to kill Mike, who escapes. Okay, sorry.
Are you good?
So then a long action sequence happens in which Mike is trying to get to a generator room and stop Nuff's men from activating another bomb, but he doesn't make it in time, and he barely gets out of the dam alive before the water rushes into it. And after that, he has to fight with Fritzy while they are both hanging on ropes on the wall of the dam. And at the end, Mike throws him down the wall. So when he gets back up, Mike sees Fritzy's radio and hears conversation between Nuff and Carrie, who secretly turned the radio inside the chopper, which he has to fly. So Nuff reveals that the entire attack on the dam was a distraction because what the explosion was really supposed to do was take out the power all over Las Vegas and cause a riot in the middle of the night. Sorry, this is pretty small that I'm reading. So during all the chaos in Las Vegas, which even the army can't control, Nuff and others start robbing casinos. But Mike gets back into the city with his Jeep and quickly finds them. And things are getting really fucking insane, even more than they did at the dam. There's even a part where Mike runs up some casino building thanks to ice climbing shoes. And he even stabs one of Nuff's team members in the head with one of those. He takes out some other guys. A couple of deaths worth mentioning are One Eye falling to his death while he is chasing Mike, and Chappie dying when Mike throws him into some light units and fry him alive because at the same time power came back on. The final showdown takes place outside of Vegas at a storage unit where the nuclear warhead is, and after armies move into Vegas, Nuff tries to escape, but Mike is still chasing him, and once they get to the storage area, that is where Mike has a final fight with Nuff and Devra, and kills her by hitting her with a baseball bat in the arm while she's holding the knife, so she stabs herself in the throat. Even then picks up a couple of grenades she had and throws one at Neff, who is trying to escape in a helicopter, and manages to destroy it. But Neff is still alive, so Mike throws another grenade like a baseball and even hits it with a bat at him. But Neff catches it and throws it away. But he doesn't do the same with another thing that Mike throws at him. The cylinder with the nuclear warhead, and because he gets trapped in some ropes that's connected to it, he sinks into the lake after the cylinder.
It's crazy.
That's some pretty cool action. So the last scene has Mike and Carrie, who are engaged, and with baby on the way back at the Rockies, where they pour Bud and Aries' ashes across the mountains, saying final goodbye to their friends. That's that. Very, very fun and insane script with so many great action sequences. Just keep getting bigger and better and better with each with each new part of the story. All right. So in conclusion, it says that, again, keep in mind, this plot synopsis is nowhere near detailed as the script half of the action sequence at the downward entire chaos, and the entire chaos in the Vegas finale were so long and described in detail that it would just take too much space to write every single cool thing, one-liner, or whatever that happens during these sequences. Entire third act takes place in Vegas and is basically one long action sequence, and not your usual 10 or so at best minutes long final action scene like in many other similar films. And if this was a movie, it would possibly be around 20, maybe 30 minutes long.
Wow.
Yeah. Cliffhanger had a budget of $70 million. But if someone was ballsy enough to say yes and make the film, the budget would probably end up reaching near or over the 100 million mark.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So imagine that. I mean, imagine what we could have had on Cliffhanger 2, where you start at the Hoover Dam, and then you go into Las Vegas.
Fuck. Yeah, this could have been really good. I wish they would have done this one.
So what year were you thinking about? I mean, I know we've touched on a couple of years, time frames, windows, but
I think maybe 95 or 96.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what came out in 96.
Daylight?
Even 97. What was he doing? Copland?
Copland, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. No, Copland was before. Copland was 90. Fuck.
So,
I don't know, maybe.
I think Copland was 97.
Yeah?
But you wonder, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, how, Cliffhanger being a big hit that it was, why do you think, or I know you kind of feel that it was too similar or it was too soon, but it's like, man, look how much the first film made. I mean, how much money that film made. Why didn't, doesn't make sense to me. Like,
yeah, it just makes sense. It Or I guess they would have had to change it a bit if it was 2008. They would have had to change a lot of that story.
Yeah.
Presumably they would already be married with kids, right? So.
What do you think was the ultimate reason, or, if you can take a guess?
I don't know. I think maybe they just thought it was. I guess that's why they wrote another version of it. It's because they really wanted to do it. So I guess maybe it's just got turned down, or.
I would not want to see a reboot. That's for sure. Not with Jason Momoa. I don't know,
Jason.
especially, you saw what Stallone did with Daylight. I mean, because if a Cliffhanger 2 came out that year, I guarantee you it would have been like a big hit. I think it would have made, just as much or a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, because
it definitely would have been a contender with Daylight. Probably would have took it. Probably still would have.
Because you think about too, like the films that came out '96, action-wise, Broken Arrow, which we referenced, talking about nuclear bombs and warheads, and
yeah,
and I kind of got that vibe a little bit.
Oh,
but
that thing was bright.
So what can you say is like your overall thoughts on Cliffhanger 2, The Dam?
I like it. It's like, it's going with the other two we discussed. It's like, I would actually put some thought into what could I trade for that one. What movie I would give up for that.
Yeah, what would you? And I guess people, because people look at the first movie and how big of a scale with the mountains and the locations and the environment, and then you go from that to the Hoover Dam. If people wonder, how can I ask this question?
Yeah, like the contrast?
Yeah, or, which I think
like
the Hoover Dam,
like total opposites,
Yeah, the Hoover Dam would have been cool to see Stallone in that location. But because it's not as grand as, let's say, the mountains, you think there's another reason why they decided not to go in that direction to make this sequel? That, okay, you go from the snowy mountains to the Hoover Dam?
Yeah. But, like, they utilize it good.
Yeah.
They do utilize it good. But I guess maybe also it could have been like, they could have said, well, okay, maybe we can't make it with Sly for whatever. Let's put it off now. We'll try to do it later. And then they just couldn't get back up to that level,
It's like, well, we can't do this, so let's have him be in this movie where he's caught in a flooded tunnel. He's a former paramedic, and it's like
Ziggy shows up.
That's why I kind of say like
that you can't go in this tunnel.
Yeah, that's why I kind of like, I love Daylight. It's kind of like a non-direct in the spirit of Cliffhanger, but may not have that grand scale. But I think that, if Cliffhanger 2 came out that year or a year after, I think it would have done gangbusters like the first movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then you take it into Las Vegas where anything can go, anything goes.
Yep.
And you could play with that atmosphere, and especially how you said that the finale of the film was what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
So you could take advantage of, that location. But yeah, that's
it's a location too, right? That's a great location. It's a beautiful location. Like, absolutely jaw-dropping, beautiful. And that's cool, kind of like the opposite of the first one in a way. Like, it's like a more ramped up, but also the climate's completely different.
Yeah.
And it gives you a little bit of the past and everything. I like that. I'm going to have to, reread the whole thing.
But yeah, I'm with you that this should have happened, and why it didn't happen is a head scratcher.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of goes along with, how we talked about Gale Force and Isobar and other ones. Yeah. I was trying to think what else I can add as far as like a final thought. But yeah, it would have been cool. Would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
I felt like I was going to mention something else.
If they did like, imagine if they really did do it in '94, because it could have been interesting because they would have threw everything at it. Like they would have threw all the money at it. The ads would have been amazing. Can you see? Remember like that "Hang On" poster?
Yeah.
Him in the O jumping and be like, "Hang on again."
Yeah, they could have fast tracked it. They could have done that.
And have him like jumping across the dam.
Which I know he had The Specialist come out that year. So would you trade that?
Maybe I would try. I would consider it. I would definitely consider it. Have him do like one of those long, crazy jumps, like in the first one, he jumps across the dam. And bring back like for the reveal trailer for the film. Bring back the opera music from the first trailer.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. Well, I was thinking too, because now I thought about what I was going to say. But you take it into Vegas, and you wonder, like, not many action films take it to Vegas.
No.
When you think about it, maybe you can name a few, or a couple.
You know what? Like that fucking Born Identity, the last one. That one has a showdown in Vegas, and they totally fucked it up. Like, I just got back from Vegas when that movie came out. I got tickets to advanced screen, so we went, and me and Cornell, and the whole chase scene at the end of the movie, none of it goes in the actual way it would have went. Like, it's all in different parts of the town.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be, coming out of one area and going down the strip and all that. They totally, I was so pissed off. I was just walking there. Fuck. That whole car chase, I walked it, like, every day for, like, like a week and a half or something.
Damn.
But yeah, this would have been perfect for Vegas. Especially with the power going out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, the power going out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it definitely would have been cool to see, and should have happened.
Imagine, like, damage they could have done with it with the water. Like, what the streets could have looked like. You could have had, like, pieces of signs everywhere, and they had to, like, that could have been pretty cool.
But yeah, this is really cool to dive into, and Cliffhanger 2 should have happened. That's kind of all I have on this one.
Yeah, man. I wish this happened.
But
a lot of these I really wish happened. Like the ones tonight, I definitely say that we covered are like more the classic ones, the ones that everybody wants to see, aside from maybe like Hunter and Fatalis.
And I know with this one it was more synopsis heavy, and there was some, again, Matt mentioned earlier there was a couple of name changes.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to dive into that and kind of break down scenes and give an idea, or have an idea, I should say, of how stuff would have played out. So
yeah,
it was really cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
let us know what you think about this one. What year do you think Cliffhanger 2 should have happened, or Isopar, or Gale Force, or whatever. But
yeah. If you guys could do a sequel to Cliffhanger, what would you do?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Would you have liked the Super Dam idea, or how would you have done it? Who would have directed it? If Rennie Harlan couldn't come back, who would be who would direct? Who would be the villain? Who would you can fill in the blank.
I just want to say too that there's one after this. There's another Cliffhanger one. I don't think it's in this list of 27 that we're doing presently, but I know it's in here somewhere, and that one too is pretty cool.
But
so can't wait to get to that whenever we find it, whenever we happen across it.
I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion of Cliffhanger 2, aka The Dam. And don't forget to take your damn pictures. Like Vegas vacation. I'm your, I'm your damn tour guide. Don't forget to take your damn pictures.
Yeah, don't pay them.
Don't wander off the damn tour.
They got 5 kids to feed.
Are there any damn questions? Where's my damn bait? No, I didn't throw it in there. But anyways, we're goofing off. All right, man. And for folks out there, hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you for the next one.
Yep.